Hi, I'm Rachael Whitefield, certified life coach, and with me is Jaki Black, our resident confidence queen. Thank you for joining us on Whiskey Bet
And spellbound,
with Black and White
Black and
Field.
Whitefield. We'll get it. We're gonna get that. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
Show number one.
show number one. All right.
So, what are we drinking? What are we drinking?
Today on Whiskey Bet and Spellbound? We are drinking Boxer Grail Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey by Rabbit Hole Distillery, and this is a female-owned company, which we're really happy to showcase them on our first podcast today.
Yes.
So
snaps for the ladies.
Props for the ladies. And today, Rachel's ice mold of choice.
Yes, tell me about it.
For our visual audience, we have Skull ice molds, which I am a sucker for designer ice and designer things all in my life. So
the fancier the ice, the better for Rachel.
Fancier the ice. I know. I can't tell you how many times I go to places where I'm like, ooh, they've got the good ice.
Listen, there's specific kind of people. Cheers.
Cheers, Lovey.
Cheers.
Jaki, what we're going to talk about today?
Being old. Not really. I'm not old. Just about being 40. Let's get into it. It's a hard age.
The hard age. Because now I think we're transitioning into midlife.
You have no idea. I have 8 chin hairs that I pluck on a regular basis and counting.
I did not know that about you.
Listen, I count them every year. They become more populous.
Yes, but dare I say, you have a natural gray streak in your hair in the front, and it's
right there.
It is exquisite and beautiful. Yeah,
the youngins be asking all the time, how did you dye your hair that way? And I say, listen, I didn't. It's from 40 years of raw dogging this planet. All of this. You'll get it. I promise.
You'll get it. Don't worry. Hang on there. All right.
Be patient, my child.
Okay. So Jaki, can you explain to me what is the difference? As I always say, I am an elder millennial, and you say we are Xennials. Can you explain
to me what
the difference is?
Yeah, absolutely. So as a millennial is somebody who's obviously born between 83 and 90 something, right? Or 80, actually, more towards like that 8-year 80. But there's like this little window of 1980 and 1980, between 1980 and 1984, that those kids grew up still feeling the way the Gen X generation felt, right? We had MTV, we drank out of water hoses. Our parents told us don't come home until the street lights are on. And once we were outside, we were not allowed back in. Okay. Now, these younger millennials have no idea what that's like. They had interwebs. We didn't.
No, we came up with technology. We had a computer lab in school that we would go to as a class, get walked to together.
Exactly. And everything was on a floppy disk. So a Xennial is that very beginning of the millennials, because we kind of don't we still are like, oh, millennials. But we're also not a Gen X. So we're a little bit squished in between.
I think you're really hitting on something, because we probably do feel like the stepchildren of our generation, because I know that I am too young for Gen X. There's a lot of things that I just don't really understand. But then when my friends are born in the late 80s, early 90s, and still classified as that very end of the millennial generation, it's like, well, you had like Facebook in high school. I didn't have a Facebook till I was 26 years old. I almost feel a real disconnection from the back half of the our millennial generation, because I was like, well, I don't really have a lot in common with them, because as we say, we grew up with technology. Well, we aged up with it, and we were always age appropriate to have it. Like I said, I didn't have a Facebook until 26, and I felt I was the last person on the face of the earth to get a Facebook.
I thought I was the last.
Yeah. And, that is, 13 years ago and 14 years ago. But now it's, then you get the Instagram. And now I feel maybe technology is also leaving me behind.
Oh,
You
100%. I
know,
don't know how to use
it has now
half of this shit.
surpassed me. I grew up with it, and now it has overtaken us all, in a way that I don't quite understand anymore.
Please don't come out with anything new, because I don't know how to learn that.
Or our generation is very much, because we grew up with like Terminator, where like Skynet becomes self-aware, and our generation is a little bit like wary of how powerful technology is getting. Yeah.
A little bit. It's scaring the shit out of me.
Yes. As we are actually being active in the AI debate of, it's the Jurassic Park debate of like, could we, but should we?
Could we?
We understand that it is powerful, versus a younger generation that really is like, we don't know how to live without it. The power went out one time when they were doing construction in my neighborhood, when I was living with my sister and her kids. And me, yes, I do have access to a car and a driver's license, but the power went out. So I was like, I'm going to go run some errands. But the kids, they didn't know what to do.
What do they even do?
Go read a book. Go read it. Go outside. It's too hot to be outside. Go read a book. No, that's boring.
Mind? There's no screen on a book.
They couldn't figure out how to do it, when I was almost like, oh, thank God I can like disconnect from my computer and work right now. And I can go do something else that does not include technology. I would like to go read a book. I would like to disconnect right now.
What is it even like to have time to read a book? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. But the fact is, like, we know what it's like to live without it, and say a zombie apocalypse happened or what have you.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
We know how to live without it.
You know what is really scary though, is that there's no more payphones to just like call and be like, cheer practice is over, and then click.
Yeah.
Like when you remember when you used to call your parents after like swim practice or something.
Yep.
And you call them, collect. Practice is over, come get me, click. That way the charge
don't pay for the
you can't do that out anymore on the streets.
I locked my keys in my car accidentally with my purse. So thank God I had traumatizing. It was scary, because you feel very helpless, because I had just put my purse in the back of my car, and I thought you can't lock your keys inside your car, because the card knows that your keys are inside of it. But apparently they were just in that bottom section of my purse that just all the signals were blocked. And so I had just put it in the back of my Jeep, and I go around at the front, and then I cannot open my car. And so now I have to go back into the store and tell someone that I've locked my keys in my car, my phone, I have nothing. Can I please use your phone? Which the very wonderful helper at the store, the associate, hands me her cell phone. And I was thinking it's going to be like a landline from the manager's desk, but she hands me her cell phone that she has to unlock. I call my sister. Hopefully I have the number memorized. I was going to
say, you have the number memorized.
I do.
That's so impressive.
Just because she's my in case of emergency person for everything. So I've had to write this, and I was like, I hope this is the right number. She does not pick up because she doesn't know the number. So then I have to ask this person, can I send a text from your phone? Hopefully I'm texting this right person that is my sister, and not some random stranger, that there's an emergency. Please help.
Oh my God.
And so then everything worked out. My sister does have a key to my apartment. She could go get my spare key, bring it to me. Everything was averted, but I was just sitting outside of this store.
Remembering when you didn't have a cell phone.
And it's like, oh, I want to go get a Starbucks because I'm waiting in the parking lot. I don't have any way to pay for that. And if I had a phone, I could pay for that because you have the Starbucks app.
Oh my God.
Could I call an Uber? No, I can't call an Uber. I can't do anything without
it. Like really
technology.
It really like makes you think about how reliant we are on technology.
Yeah.
And like, what would happen if the satellites just went out? We'd all be effed.
Effed. Yeah, right.
Right in the A.
So now that we've grown up with technology, and now that we are absolutely reliant on it, but also I think there's a part maybe in our heart of hearts that we will not quite admit that we kind of want a little less of it.
Oh, 100%. Are you kidding? 100%. Like, it would be a bad thing. It'd be scary, but man, I'd get used to it in a day. I would get used to it in a day. I don't care.
I think it would just be
Don't
easy
call
because
me.
we're going back to a life we've already lived. We
Yeah.
don't have to build a new skill set to learn how to live without it. But with that, let's do a little introduction. So as Rachel, I am 40 years old. I do not have any children. I'm a child-free woman by choice. And Jackie, a little bit about your background.
I am also 40.
I'll say a little bit.
It really, because it feels weird saying it because I don't feel 40. So and I don't look 40. I'm 40 and I have two grown adult children. So we're kind of a little bit in the same place in that we're living on our own, no external responsibilities, but like we've been through a completely different life paths. And we found ourselves kind of in the exact same spot as each other, even though our paths were 100% different, which I love.
It's fun to be in the same place and having two very separate and distinct paths to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about like your wins and losses, ups and downs, peaks and valleys of being 40. So like for me, it's very much like, okay, aging is a gift. It is something that is denied to a lot of people. So who am I to complain about getting older or, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Into this, we
have so many lessons behind us that we're able to lean on. And so like the good part of being 40 is that you don't look or feel like you're 40, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we have all of these lessons and life lessons to lean on. So we kind of know better.
Yeah.
Do we make better decisions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel, because when it came to my birthday party, I was like, it's 40 and fabulous. Like this is not the end of an era. This is the beginning of the next thing. This is exciting. And I always said, it's like, oh, when I'm, 30, I'm an adult now. It's like, no, when I'm 40, I'm gonna finally feel like I'm an adult, or I'm gonna say I'm an adult now. It's like, no, I'm gonna save that for 50.
I think I'm gonna be an adult at 50 for sure.
50. And I do adult things. I have bills, I have a lease, I have all the things, but somehow I still feel like
very unsupervised out here.
Yeah. Like,
what is my mom doing?
Does she know? When the meme came out, it's like, especially as a child-free woman, I am not well equipped for a lot of like emergency situations that just
you haven't been tested,
hyper vigilant for. And I was like, I need the adultier adult. Like, please don't. Like, I'm happy to be an adult, but when I'm
the least adulty adult in the room, somebody else has to adult harder than me.
I took my niece to her soccer game, and she had hurt her arm or something. And so another mom had to give me an ice pack, but it's one of those where you crack and then it gets cold. So she just handed it to me, and I was like, I don't know if this is working.
What do I do with this?
What do I do with this? Like, do I take her out of the game? Is she hurt or is she injured? I don't know what to do. And then the mom had to come over like minutes later to be like, okay, you have to crack this first, sweetheart. And then you like, I didn't know.
You obviously have zero crotch goblins, ma'am.
And I was just like, I was like, okay, so like, is everyone judging me if I don't take her to, because she's crying? But I was like, but again, being that Xennial, it's like, pack some dirt in it, walk it off. Like, are you actually really hurt? Because I have no doubt.
Take your ibuprofen and drink some water and go for a walk. You're going to be fine. You see that hose over there? Have some of that hose.
And if that is all my care as a child growing up, it's like, we know that kind of neglect is not really healthy moving forward as far as into children. So I have no skill sets to help these younger children. So I was like, I need an adultier adult, and I'm 40 years old and they're looking to me, and I'm like, yo, kids, we're in the same boat. I don't know how to help you.
I'm not. I'm the rich aunt, you guys. Mm-hmm. That's all. That's my role.
Yes. I pack you with sugar and shake you up and then give you back to your parents. Like,
right? Crying most of the time.
Don't bring me a crisis. I am useless.
I don't know. I freeze in a crisis too. And I'm a mom. I mean, like I can like sprint into action. You know what I'm saying? If there's a hurt kid, I can totally do that.
Mhm.
But other than that, I freeze and I don't know what to do with my hands. It's fine. My poor kids. I'm so glad they're alive.
And they are under their own power now.
They are. They're doing good. Very proud. Mostly of myself for not murdering them. It's fine. That's why I don't
sure
listen.
You can close some days.
Some days, those children are pray every day to tiny baby Korean Jesus that they also made it through some of their years, primarily like 13 through 16. Those assholes. They're the worst at that age. Gotta love them. Gotta love them. But I'll never encourage a single woman to have a single one of these things. Love my kids to death. Don't get me wrong. Did it nice and young. Missed my 20s. Have no idea what that was like, raising kids. But I'll never, ever encourage you, my friend, to get pregnant.
I remember this. I popped in one of your TikTok lives and you were just like, oh, someone that we know is now a grandma.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my God, I haven't even, and I think the sentence structure, just the way I said it, was like, I haven't even had kids yet. And which the plan was not to have children, but the fact that someone we know is a grandmother now, and it's like, I don't even have kids. And you were immediately like, don't do it. Do not do it. You were very adamant of like, just and stay the course, Rachel. Yes. And I was like, yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. I will say, even though I'm 40, maybe this is for other women as well, or you, I still feel like I'm 25, but maybe not 25. Yes. Maybe I still feel like maybe 27 or like around 30, you know?
Oh yeah. 100%.
40 is the real adults. I can't be that with this, juvenile mindset.
I should have a career at 40, like a real one that I've been at for 15 years. And I got 5 years left until retirement. Like, I feel like that's what 40 is. That's not what 40 is for me. In my head. I could get fired at any moment. I don't know.
I always say, I'm just getting warmed up. Like, I think society has kind of ingrained us. And I think that's why this dichotomy in our minds of like, well, I'm still very young. I'm not old, but maybe our mothers or whatnot, it's like 40 but maybe 40 didn't seem old for them either.
It seemed old as shit for my poor mother. She had 4 at that time. Like
40 old. As a kid seems very young. I mean, very old, but as we are 40, I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. Shoot, like I am. No. I'm just getting warmed up. Like, I just had a complete career change. I am just stepping into that right now. It's very exciting. It is completely 180 from what I've done before. And I couldn't be more excited for the future, and then it's just like, no, for it. And I'm not saying that life is over when you're 40. I'm saying it is just beginning. And it's 100% us to break out of that mental mold that maybe we felt like we've been trapped in, or being afraid of being 40, when it's up to us to change how people think about being 40.
Sometimes I feel like maybe I feel like I'm in my 20s because I didn't get them. And when I was in my 20s, I felt like I was in my 40s because I was like chasing kids around like babies. And I was like doing a wife thing. And like, I didn't get that part of my life. So now I feel so much younger because now I feel like I'm finally getting to experience all of that. Except for now, like, it's much better because I have adult money, and like in my 20s, I was having kids. I was totally broke. Shout out to my kids who totally handled that like a couple of champs. But like now I'm 40 and I've got a great job in my own place. And like, shit is kind of just getting good. Like, again, love my kids. That part was super fun, but glad that they're productive members of society and shit is getting good now.
And I think you really hit on something really important also is, I mean, I was married at 21. So, and I was married from 21 to 35, before my divorce was finalized, which are very formidable years,
That's so growing up. That's you growing up
with this person next to me. And I think that's why it's so exciting to be released back into the wild in your late 30s, and now that we're 40 and have been established into our lives now as a single woman, and to say, you know what, like, I get to do whatever the fuck I want to do now. I don't have to answer to anybody. I don't have to compromise with anybody. I do the choosing. I am the chooser. I get to choose who I want in my life. I get to choose what furniture goes into my apartment. Uncompromising in the 40s, you know, of just like, yeah, this is when it was happening. But on that same note, as my divorce was finalized at 35, in the back of my mind, I was like, I have to have my life together by the time I am 40. That was
societal
looming.
pressure.
It was looming. I was like, I can't still be living in my sister's basement after as I get my life together. It was 5 years. And I said, by the time I'm 40, I have to have a real job where I can support myself by the time I'm 40. And maybe that was just like the next milestone birthday coming up. Or I actually really knew that it would take a certain amount of years to truly get my feet underneath me. But I felt like I can't still be struggling when I'm 40.
It kind of sounds like you manifested this part of your life a little bit.
Manifested, but also took very actionable steps.
Yeah, well, that's what manifestation is.
Career I love. Yes.
You have to take the steps towards your manifestation in order for it to work. We both know that. But it does sound like that's what you did.
Yeah.
Which I love. I got
Look at you now. I got the big girl job at 39 and a half.
Cheers.
And cheers. And then, I got the apartment. My North Star was to live alone after my to be completely financially independent and to live alone, not with a roommate. I don't need anyone to support my lifestyle anymore. And I was like, okay, by the time I'm 40, and my birthday's in April, and in August 1st, I moved into this apartment. So in my 40th year, I had achieved everything that I had set out to achieve post-divorce.
Boom.
But again,
I love that.
Why 40? Was it just because it's the next huge milestone birthday, or because I can't?
It's a nice round number.
It is. And I do love even numbers, but it's just more of like, is it this 40 milestone? I want to have my life together by the time I'm 40. I don't want to be struggling and seen as less by the time I'm 40, because now I'm going to be an adult at 40. I better have it all sorted out.
They used to throw those parties, those over the hill parties. Do you remember that? Like, they threw those for people. And it was 40.
It was
the way
40.
If somebody threw one of those parties for me, I swear to God, somebody would have to bail me out of jail. Do not over the hill me at 40.
Absolutely not. In Sex and the City, Samantha's like, do I look like I'm 40? And then Carrie's inner monologue says, I know the right answer to this. And she answers, you don't look a day over 35. Which is great. But I was like, ew, why is still again 40? But I will say,
the patriarchy.
When my father turned 40, they did, his friends put all these black balloons around our fence when we were out at a swim meet. So we came home, and it was all these black balloons for his 40th birthday. And it says, Lordy, Lordy, Jack turned 40. 40 ain't old if you're a redwood. So it's
my God.
Yeah. So they did this like
over
the hill.
My mom an over the hill birthday party when I was a child. And like seeing that, I was just like, oh, you must be really old,
really
Mom.
Old. But then does everyone has an over the hill birthday? Does that mean that everyone also secretly hates it? But again, misery loves company. Well, if I had one, you have to have one.
That's true.
Nobody
that's why one of those.
Yeah. Now I am just like, no. So I feel it in my heart of hearts, my fear of fears. It's always like, oh, that bitch is trying too hard. When I go out and wear whatever I want, I wear, fun buns in my hair.
Right.
Oh, is she going to be too old to do that? That's what I'm afraid people will say in their minds about me. But also what people say in their minds about me is not my business.
That's true.
Not my business. And again, who's to say that they are saying those things about me? One, most of the time, if you're not behind a screen, no one's going to say shit to your face. Ever. So you're not going to just come up to a random stranger and be like, you shouldn't be wearing that. odds are it's not going to happen. And then two, I'm afraid they're saying it, but that doesn't mean they are. They may look at to me and say, damn, like
I
that
love her fun
more of
buns.
that. Yeah, I love that about you. I love your outfit. We don't have to be wearing granny slacks and orthopedic nurse shoes just yet, you know.
Not
And I
ever.
think that's what we were
Girlfriend.
afraid of we were doing.
Oh, 100%. I wore pigtails to the concert this past weekend. I went to a rock concert for a band from when we were 16 and wore pigtails. But bitch, if I didn't own those pigtails and look good, and if anybody's saying she's trying too hard, let me tell you, they are jealous. Anybody who says we are trying too hard at 40, we don't have to try. So that's the point.
Ooh, I like that.
We don't have to try at 40. We know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we like. This is how we dress. This is how our hair is, because this is who we are and we know who we are and we're confident in that. And that's like the best part of being 40.
Yes.
Period.
Take no prisoners. That's what it is.
Exactly.
But I will say those bands that we love that are still touring, they're aging as well.
I know, it was a family event. Let me tell you, there were so many children, little kids.
Because we
at
are
these
educating
shows.
The next generation.
Because we're
like,
not
we love
regular
this music.
parents. I say it all the time. I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom.
Cool mom.
I'm a cool mom. My kids can tell me anything because I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. Period.
Period.
That's how you got to be.
Jackie, do you still shop in the junior section?
Girl, all of my pants are an odd number. I can't shop in the misses section. Have you seen what's happening over there? They're really designing shit for women in their 60s. Like, we are not boomers.
Yeah, we're not. And here's the struggle I have with it. Rachel, the whiskey's kicking in already. As I transition into my womanly body, as the metabolism changes, what have you.
Yeah.
I like the clothes and the styles that I see in the junior section, but I was like, okay, this does not fit me. But where can I find something like this, but for someone who has some curves on her, you know, because I'm not a size 4 anymore, you know.
No. That's why I just dress like a goth, like my 16-year-old heart wants.
Yes.
Because then I just order everything. Is it made for girls in their 20s? Yes. But do I care? Not ever.
No, not at all.
I'll always dress like this, like literally for the rest of my life. I go to Target or TJ Maxx. I am 100% in that junior section. And listen, half of that shit don't fit me either.
Mm-hmm.
But because I had, a little bit of the top surgery. But that it doesn't fit me because all those girls are still going through puberty. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I gotta go over to the what do you call it, maternity section for an appropriate size top. But it's okay.
It's okay.
It's
That's
fine.
the choice you made to make that choice.
Listen, I'll rock that maternity top. And here's one thing I know about maternity clothes, they're comfy as shit. You gotta be comfy. You gotta be comfy. It's not the same as our mother's 40s. They had their own section at Sears and Roebuck's. Remember what it was called that? Yeah. That's how old we are. God.
Come see the softer side of Sears.
What? You even know the quote?
Mm-hmm.
That's
good marketing. That's like gets imprinted.
That is pretty good marketing.
I can't remember shit at work, but if you want a slogan from a commercial that I've seen a million times in the 90s, then absolutely sign me up.
If you want me to sing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle theme song, I got that. If you want my address and phone number from 1992, I've got that.
Yep.
No idea what anything else is. I'd like to know actually what I'm using that memory space for all of my friends' phone numbers, because I had everybody's phone numbers memorized.
Yeah.
But that's gone. So what's in that space? That's actually my question.
Yeah. Because when I've locked my keys in my car, I can't call my bestie from high school's phone number anymore. Her parents can't help me. They're 1,000 miles away.
What do we even do?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to have to get life alerts pretty soon, probably.
No, if I've fallen and I can't get up.
Send the hottest paramedic you have.
I am available for that.
I'm available for being picked up off the ground. Fireman style. You know the way. You know how they do it. Damsel in distress. My favorite. I love a fine ass fireman.
That is the thing about getting older, though. I slept wrong and I couldn't turn my head for a week.
Girl.
Yeah, I got a whole new mattress, whole new pillows. It was time, but I was just like, what have I done? Nothing. I did nothing. I slept.
Yeah, you took a nap.
I took a nap and then I woke up and my whole life was different in a very bad way. I had to go to
You have to go get
had to go to the chiropractor, had to go massages.
I was
It
just gonna say
cost me hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, because I was due for a new mattress and pillows, but I was like, I'm going for it. Thousands of dollars to wake up with a crick in my neck.
Girl, I wake up and it sounds like a Rice Krispie treats rap battle in my room. Like the amount of cracking is probably unhealthy. I blame it on the cheerleading.
Here's the thing. I was a safety kid. I've never broken anything. I'm pretty good,
A rule follower.
I'm Jaki, and that's the thing. I'm really breaking out of it as I get older and realize those rules are bullshit.
I was gonna say they're stupid, right?
Rules are bullshit, and maybe it's like we're the ones imposing those rules on us of like, oh, I shouldn't be wearing this. No one's telling us not to wear it. We can wear whatever the fuck we want,
That's exactly right.
But it's us to be like, we're constructing the prison we're trying to break out of.
Yeah, we're giving ourselves our parents' parameters, I think, is what we got to stop doing.
Yeah.
Just like for the next generation of women. Maybe they're doing it for us. I don't know. I kind of get a little bit of my confidence from these Gen Z kids out here in high waters and crop tops who don't give a single shit.
I will say the body positivity
is my favorite.
That they just wear it. I was like, yes, more of that, more of all of that.
Yes.
Because I don't know. I read a meme somewhere. It's like the first thought you have is what you are ingrained in. And then your second thought is how you broke out of it. So when I see a young lady wearing a crop top, or I was like, oh, she shouldn't be wearing that. It's like, nope. She can wear whatever she wants. Her body is whatever she wants. She can do whatever she wants with it.
And we're not sexualizing.
And we're not sexualizing that at all. I was like, nope.
She I love the generation for that.
She is confident, and we are here for it. Because I think we were trapped in that. Get married, have a job, go to college, do the things that worked for our parents.
Don't dress like a slut.
And then it didn't work out for us. We went through like however many recessions, and then our children is the alpha generation or whatnot. And Gen Z.
Alpha's next.
Yeah. So Gen Z is like, well, it doesn't work out for them. Why am I going to keep doing that? Like, they're breaking the mold, and I am so proud of them for it.
Oh my God. I'm so proud of Gen Z. I love, they kind of gave me the words for their, as far as like the way they used to dress code us in high school for not wearing shorts long enough. Like, don't sexualize my body. Why are you measuring my shorts? Who are they too short for?
And I want to be very clear for our listeners that don't realize where we're from. We are from the desert Southwest, where it is 115 in the summertime. And it's
125 in the shade. Don't sugarcoat it.
I'm trying to be nice.
115 would have been lovely, but it was 125 in the shade, 100 feet below sea level, and it smelled like cow shit.
Yeah. So
year round.
Not being covered up all year round was actually quite necessary.
We were trying to survive the heat.
My birthday is April 9th. And I remember my mom telling me the story of my grandfather who said, I will stay until that baby is born or it hits 100 degrees, whichever comes first, and then I'm out. So I am very much aware that it is incredibly hot in the beginning of April around my birthday. And now that I live in Colorado, and it kills me that I cannot have a pool party birthday anywhere else because it's very cold everywhere
cold as
else.
shit
It's
in
still
April in
snowing
Colorado.
in Colorado
Oh.
in April. So it blows my mind because I'm like, oh, even though I have a springtime birthday, I'm like, oh, it's a summertime birthday. It's very
Well,
much.
yeah. Well, that's what
But
you were used to.
yeah, so where we're from is desperately hot, and no, have to cover up your shoulders. Nope, you got to cover. It's like, no.
Why?
And then we realize that when the onus is put on the person, it doesn't need to be. If it bothers someone else, that's their problem. If
and
they have the
where's
thoughts,
their
why
mind
is that?
at?
Why am I in charge of that? And who's to say that they are thinking that? You know?
It used to always blow my mind, like that an adult man, i.e., a principal, be like, your straps are very thin, young lady. Like on my tank top, it is 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Sir, why are you measuring the straps? You can't even see the straps. My hair is covering the straps. Like it makes no sense to tell a child, which is what we are at 16.
Yeah.
That we're not covered up enough. And then like that literally makes you think something to yourself, like I'm too sexy.
I'm
and
not
as a
gonna take it
female,
seriously.
right? As a female, those are dangerous words to think when you're 16 years old. Very dangerous. I know. I'm proof is in the pudding. Here I am.
Yes. I'm sure you have some dating stories as well as I do. I will say, if I may,
Are we talking about dating men our age or younger?
let's just talk about dating in our late 30s and early 40s. Like however many, whatever the ages of the men are, that is just a token story. However, I will say I was 37 at the time, child-free woman. Right. And I was dating someone who divorced. He has a grown child, has a vasectomy. But we're kind of getting all this out of the way, the first date, see if we kind of line up. But what he was afraid of is I was 37, pushing 38, child-free woman. And he was like, oh my God, he just assumed she's going to want a child. And I don't want a child because I don't have them yet, you know? And I was very clear that that was by choice. And then he was like, oh, okay, now I can calm down. Now I can get that worry out of the way, because he's like, I almost didn't swipe right on you because he just assumed I would want a child and it just hadn't happened yet.
That's so crazy to me. We don't think that.
No, because
to men, we're just like, oh, you don't have a kid? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Or,
fuck yeah.
But
no
I
kids.
do. But in the dating world, okay, so say I think I was 38 or 39 at the time. And I now on a dating app look for, and I specifically say men with non-dependent children. So I understand you can have children.
The older kids are fine.
Yes. But I was like, I understand you may have children. Everyone has a life before, you know, what have you. However, it's like, I don't know how to be a mom. So, but the dating realm age is really weird for men, because before I was very specific about what I did want, and you're just trying to figure it out in the dating pool after a divorce. I went on 2 dates in 1 week. Both men were 44. One had a 4-year-old and one was a grandfather.
Ew.
So it was like, wow, it just runs the gambit at 40.
Yeah, well, especially at this age. I'm seeing a man right now who has a 5-year-old. He is 44. And then I'm also seeing a man who's never had kids, and he's 38 and doesn't want any. It's lovely. That's a lovely one.
Yeah.
I love when they don't want kids. I hate when they want kids. Like, don't come at me.
I was dating a man briefly who I'm very explicit about not wanting children on my dating profile. I do not have them, do not have any plans for them. Very clear about that. And this man swiped right on me. He didn't have any kids. I'm like, yes, great, awesome, perfect. Let's see where this goes.
It's like finding a unicorn sometimes.
Yeah, but he wasn't honest with himself. and I was like, this is obviously something that you want or you feel you are missing. I don't know why you swiped on a 38-year-old woman who absolutely does not want children, is very adamant about that, you know? So obviously that didn't work out. But one more scenario, it was when I was going through my divorce before I moved to Colorado. And I was very casually seeing this person, just getting back out there. So I was 35. I think he was 33 at the time. And he very much in his life goals wanted to be married and have a big family. And, you know, you kind of have these quiet moments of like, shouldn't you not be seeing people who are wildly inappropriate for you anymore? As I am 2 years older, not looking to get married or have a family.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And he says to me, he looks me dead in the face and he says, I'll just start dating younger women. I was like, at that point, even at 35, I knew it was young, but I was in full adulthood. I was like, wow. Like,
that's a different, so that's a kind of, that's, I got opinions about that kind of men. I got opinions about that kind of men's, to be honest. Like, red flags there, lots of red flags there. I'll just start dating younger, my guy.
Younger women. Well, younger because he was 33 at the time. And I was like,
okay, so you're like the older girl anyways. Yeah,
he was 35.
He should have been dating like 30.
But now as he is in his later 30s, because it's 5 years on.
Okay, and is he still single? Oh, look how that worked out.
I was like, you got to get him real young, dude, because at that point, they don't know. They're not smart enough yet.
Get yourself a 22-year-old. She won't know no better.
She knows everything already.
This is bad advice.
It is bad advice. And we're
giving these men a terrible advice.
I know. Don't do it.
Ladies, don't date them if they're over 30. They're trying to trick you.
Because they're immature and they want to, like, you know, they also want to eat dino nuggets with you, you know?
Oh, God. Dino nuggets. They'll jump in on girl dinner. Girl dinner. I love girl dinner.
Yeah. But any dating in your late 30s, early 40s for you, Jacqueline?
Listen, the only thing I have to say is don't. At this point, my goal is just like to have a full roster, never, ever, ever get married again, and retire Golden Girl style. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like that is where I'm going. There's men who like want to date me for sure, and like they're great candidates, but I had a terrible track record. I've been married 3 times. You know, I love marriage. I'm gonna do it a couple of times. I don't know. I might be afraid that like they get too close and want to marry me, because that's like the track record I have.
Oh my God, they fall in love with me. Oh no.
They just immediately, like in a month and a half, fall in love, which red flag. Now I know. Okay. Quite frankly.
Yeah.
So I started the only like age related dating story I have. I do have one. I let a 32-year-old gentleman take me out.
And you were
this age, I was 40.
40. Okay.
This is recent. This is like right when I started getting back, you know, out there, letting people ask me out on dates. I'm hesitant with the apps, quite frankly. So I like let people, I'm trying to look men more in the eye, because I figured that's actually them. Like, that's when they respond, is when I look at them. I don't know. I pretend they're not there for the most part, which is really working out for me. But when I look in them in the eyeballs, this happens. 32 years old, asked me out on a date. I was like, okay, where do you want to go? And he was like, I want to go to a picnic at a park. And I was like, that sounds cute. Okay, so he's gonna feed me. Meet him at the park. No picnic. He has like 2 snacks. And then, I'm not even joking, I mentioned Morticia.
because I'm compared often to Morticia, just like visually. Apparently, I look like Angela. What's her name?
Houston.
Who played
Angelica Houston.
Angelica Houston. How dare me?
I know, the sacrilege. Angelica
It
Houston,
was
we
the
love you.
whiskey. Cheers to the lady whiskey distillers because they're getting us
Doing a good job.
They're doing a good job. Anyways, I mentioned that people tell me I look like Morticia, and he said, and I quote, "Who?" It was at that moment I decided I was going to go home
alone. Oh, let's cut that date short. We don't need to take this any further. This is not going to work out.
We don't. We do not. So that's the end of my dating story. It taught me to stop it. Really, like
real quick.
Let's not. Yeah.
I will say in our 40s, we do, and this is what I've heard from a lot of women moving forward into their 40s, was they put up with so little bullshit. And I think that as I get older, was so very excited to transition into being that as I'm transitioning out of being a people pleaser and workaholic, and my workaholism. So it's like, okay, no, let's find a healthy balance. Actually, Rachel, you don't have to make everybody happy. You're not this whiskey. And so then, but also when people say, oh, you just stop giving a shit. And I was like, oh, and then
thank you.
Listeners,
listen, you stopped giving a shit. The answer is thank you.
Thank you. And the fact that it just kind of happens naturally when you get more comfortable in your space, your body, where you are in your life. And you're like, it doesn't fucking matter.
No,
it doesn't matter as much as I thought I did. And now what a gift to realize that now. And I have time to actually focus on who I want to be.
Yeah. So in short, being 40 so far, a blessing.
40 and fabulous.
40 and fabulous. A blessing.
Fabulous.
Should I pull the tarot?
Yeah, it is. We've had the whiskey bent portion, and now it is time for Spellbound with Jackie, and she's going to do a 3-card pull out of her tarot.
No, I'm going to do 1 card because it's our first show. And I'm super excited about this card because, like,
do you want me to read?
First of all, I'm just super excited about our very first show, but I'm going to pull a card because it's just a general reading. I felt like I wanted to pull something for the show, not really for like our future listeners, but just for something for you and me. And I think it's super appropriate because I pulled the 9 of Pentacles, which
explain it to me. I don't understand tarot.
This is so exciting. The 9 of Pentacles has everything to do with a successful endeavor business-wise, as far as like putting everything together and watching things come to fruition. She's standing there in all of her knowing with her bird, ready to succeed and reap everything that she's sown. So 9 of Pentacles for our first show, Whiskey Bent and Spellbound. So I'm super excited about that. And I just want to breathe in all of this energy. By the way, I'm reading Murder of Crow Tarot. So this is what I read all the time.
Ooh,
this is the deck that I read. I know it's spooky, right? A little bit like you, girl. A little spooky like you, girl. But I love that I pulled that. I pulled that at the top of the show. So I've been like waiting patiently to give it to you.
Exciting.
So, yes. But we'll start 3-card pull next.
Okay.
Next show.
Thank you, everyone, for being here for our first inaugural show of Whiskey Bent and Spellbound with Black and Whitefield. I'm one of your hosts, Rachael Whitefield.
I'm Jaki Black.
And then we will see you next time. Thank you.
Love you. Bye.